a beauty? Let's go make some sauerkraut. So we're here in the kitchen and we are going to turn these great looking heads of cabbage into delicious sauerkraut. I'm going to make 2 batches today. I'm going to do green and I'm going to do red. And the first thing you're going to want to do is wash your cabbage, cut it, get the core out, and shred it. You'll also want to make sure to keep a couple of the outer leaves. We'll use them later. So let's get started. Now you can certainly cut your cabbage by hand with a sharp knife, but this little gadget makes quick work of it. We've got all of our cabbage shredded up nicely here, and sauerkraut is really easy to make. It's just a matter of cabbage and salt. You can of course add other seasonings and spices and ingredients to jazz it up if you want, but ultimately it's just a matter of the right amount of ratio of salt to cabbage. And to find that, we're going to weigh our cabbage. We're going to do it by weight. The rule of thumb is you want 2% salt by weight. That means 2 grams of salt for every 100 grams of cabbage. So we're going to weigh our cabbage and figure out the arithmetic here. I've got this pot on a scale here and we will weigh our cabbage. Okay, our cabbage comes out to 1,092 grams, which means we are going to need about 22 grams of salt. So we will weigh that out. Okay, so the actual figure comes out to 1,092 grams of cabbage, which you would multiply by 0.02 to find the percentage, and that comes out to 21.84 grams of salt. I just rounded up to 22, and we are going to add it to our cabbage. Okay, and now is the fun part. All you do is you just get in there with your hands, or if you have a tool like this, this is just kind of a big wooden dowel basically. And you really want to just crush up the cabbage and work with it until it kind of breaks apart and releases its juices and mixes with the salt, and it'll create its own brine. And that's what we want. We want a lot of that brine. So we just keep working with that cabbage. We keep mashing it up and kind of breaking it up. And we do that. It'll take maybe 5-10 minutes of working with it until we get enough brine to be able to ferment it in. So this is a good way to get your aggression out on your cabbage. So get to it. Okay, I've gotten this all mashed up until it has released a lot of its natural juices and created a brine. Now at this point you could go ahead and put it in your jars and let the fermentation process begin, but I'm going to add some seasonings to this batch and give that a try. I've never done it before. I've done it just plain in the past and it's been delicious, but I thought I'd try something new today. So we are going to add a green apple, some ginger, and some caraway seeds to this batch. Now you might want to subscribe, and in a couple weeks we'll pull this back out and give it a taste test, but I have a feeling it's going to be delicious. Follow along and we'll see. But here's how we make it when we want to add these seasonings. It's at this point that we will grate up the apple, the ginger, and add about a teaspoon of caraway seeds. So here we go. Okay, so for my approximately 2.5 pounds of cabbage, I've added 1 green apple, about 1 inch of ginger, and I'm going to do a ½ teaspoon of caraway seeds. And I'm just going to mix it into our batch of cabbage here. This looks delicious. Let's get it jarred up. Okay, we're just going to put this in a clean glass jar. We want to make sure to pack it in really tight and get the juices to cover all the cabbage entirely. This tool comes in handy here again. See how there's a lot of juice in here? I hope you can see it. Okay, we're not gonna get this all in one jar, so I'm gonna grab another jar. But this is how you want it really packed in tight with the liquid covering the cabbage. And to make sure all the cabbage stays down below the liquid, that's when we use these outer leaves we had saved from before to put it over top of the cabbage. And then you can get a weight. I have these that work as weights, or you can use, I've seen people use little baggies full of water to put down here just to make sure that all of that cabbage under there stays submerged in the liquid. If any comes above it, you can run at the risk of getting mold issues. So we'll put, great. Just slip this weight right down in there, holding it all down. And I'm gonna cover it with just a clean cloth, dishcloth, and a rubber band around it just to keep any dust and dirt out of here. But we want it to be able to breathe and release the gases. Otherwise, well, it could become a big mess. If you do put a lid on this, just make sure to open it every day and release the gases that will build up in here. We're gonna set this in a cool, dark place away from sunlight. And you can set it there for anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. The longer you let it sit, the more fermented it will become, the more sour tasting it will become. So however you like it, you can check it after a week. If you want to let it go a little longer, give it another week, up to 3 weeks. And then you just store it in your refrigerator and it'll last there for many months and it will be delicious. Now let's start the red batch. Okay, and for the red cabbage, it's the same drill. We're gonna cut, core, and shred it. We'll also save a few of these outer leaves for the jars. Look at the color on that. Isn't that beautiful? It's gonna make a stunning sauerkraut. Now we weigh it. 930 grams. 18.6 grams of salt. Now start to break this up to release the juices. If you don't yet know the health benefits of sauerkraut, I encourage you to go look them up. They are endless. It's so good for your gut health, which we're learning more and more is so important to your overall health and your immune system. So we're excited to have this on the shelf this winter. For this red cabbage sauerkraut, I think I'm gonna add half of an onion and a couple cloves of garlic. I'll shred these up and add them in here now. The fermentation process will mellow the onion and the garlic, and I think it's gonna make it taste amazing. Subscribe and check back in 3 weeks when we give this a taste test. Right now, we're gonna jar it up and be done with this project. Don't forget to label them with the date. We'll be checking these in 3 weeks and see how they come out, so hit subscribe and follow along.